You're watching the midweek edition of Primetime News. Good evening to our global audience and many thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Madimba. We're commencing tonight's bulletin with SADC affairs. Head of State Dr. Hage Geingob, in his capacity as the chairperson of the SADC Organ on Politics, Defense, as well as Security Cooperation, has called for peace and an end to hostilities in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. Shova Wells filed our lead report.
A statement issued by the presidency on Tuesday said Geingob made the call while speaking telephonically with DRC President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwandan President Paul Kagame about the deteriorating political and military situation in eastern DRC. Geingob, it noted, reaffirmed SADC's support for the mediation led by the chairperson of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region, President João Lourenço of Angola, in consultation with other Troika members, outgoing chairperson of the organ, President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, and incoming chairperson of the organ, President Hakainde Hichilema of Zambia. It read, Geingob calls for peace in the eastern DRC and appeals for calm by joining the international community in calling for an immediate ceasefire and the disarmament of armed groups, including the March 23 movement and the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda. The statement further said President Geingob is pleased with President Kagame and President Tshisekedi's commitment to the Luanda and Nairobi processes to give peace a chance by finding long-term solutions to the security challenges in eastern DRC. Reporting for Primetime News, Linnea Dishena.
Now, African Youth Day is commemorated on the 1st of November annually, and in celebration of the day, President Dr. Hage Geingob on Tuesday observed that African youth voices, actions, advocacy and engagement should serve as a beacon of hope for positive change in the development of the continent. More from this report.
Geingob made the remark during the commemoration of the African Youth Day held under the theme Breaking Barriers to Meaningful Youth Participation and Inclusion in Advocacy. He said the day is dedicated to highlighting the challenges and contribution of young Africans to their communities, cultural, political and socio-economic development. The head of state noted that African Day, which kicks off African Youth Month, should not be viewed solely as a commemoration, but to honor young Africans who have taken the initiative and continue to be active participants in their individual and collective capacities in bringing the vision of a prosperous and peaceful Africa to fruition. He stressed they recognize the various challenges that youth face in reaching their full potential and making meaningful contribution to driving sectors of the African economy. Namibia, the president stated, is motivated by the unflinching spirit of many young people who, despite many challenges, continue to work towards Vision 2030 and Agenda 2063 goals, while continuing to invest heavily in education and skill-building activities for its youth.
On to politics. The candidates vying for the top 3 political positions in the SWAPO party are expected to visit and make presentations to the 42 delegates of the Otjozondjupa region who attend the 7th Congress of the party later in the month. Mulisa Simiasa files this insert.
Otjozondjupa SWAPO Party Coordinator Eames Namaseb, in an interview with Nampa on Tuesday, said all 9 candidates are expected to attend the political engagements at the Swanafeder Community Hall in Otjiwarongo on Saturday. He said the engagements will take place from 8 o'clock until 1800 hours on Saturday, and the discussions will be limited only to the candidates and the delegates from the region. No members of the public are allowed to attend the sessions. Namaseb further stated that each candidate will be allowed to engage delegates for a period not exceeding 1 hour for both presentations and questions. The candidates are Netumo Nandindaitwa, Saraku Wangerwa Amadila, and Poamba Shifeta, vying for the position of SWAPO Party Vice President, while Sophia Shaningwa and Armas Amukuyu are contesting the position of Secretary General. For the position of SWAPO Deputy SG, the candidates are Wahekwa Herunga, Lucia Vedboy, Evelyn Nawase Stayale, and Amutenya David. Reporting for Primetime News, Linnea Dishena.
Shifting attention to East Africa. Kenyan President William Ruto on Tuesday revealed his government had allocated 2 billion shillings, approximately $16.47 million for food relief to counties affected by the severe drought across the country.
Reuters say the government will also collaborate with development partners and the private sector to raise additional funds to tackle the crippling drought which has affected more than 4 million Kenyans. Ruto, while being installed as the patron of the Kenya Red Cross Society, noted they are working with development partners to raise another 10 billion shillings to ensure no part of the country is unfairly affected by the drought. National Drought Management Authority said the number of people in need of humanitarian assistance currently stands at 4.35 million, a rise from 4.1 million in June. The National Drought Management Authority said due to diminished pasture and water resources in most of the arid counties, mortalities across livestock species, namely camels, cattle, goats, and sheep, have increased. Reuters said part of the new allocation will be channeled to support the animal takeoff program through which the government buys weak livestock from pastoralists. The president said half of the animal are slaughtered and the meat distributed to the locals, while the other half are taken to the Kenya Meat Commission, where their meat is canned for distribution to schools. Reporting for Primetime News, Linnea Adishana.
When we return, top South African retailer embraces crypto payments. Welcome to Primetime Biz, where we make sense of all things business and economics. The first major South African retailer to accept cryptocurrency payments at some of its stills on Tuesday revealed it was planning to extend the system to all its stores. More from this insert.
Weeks after the country's financial watchdog declared crypto assets a financial product, supermarket chain Pick n Pay said it was expanding a pilot allowing shoppers to pay for their groceries with Bitcoin. The company said in a statement the retailer has now extended the pilot to further 29 stores for testing with customers, with the intention to roll it out to all stores in the coming months. Pick n Pay is South Africa's second largest grocery retailer with more than 500 supermarkets. It is also found in other Southern African countries such as Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Namibia, and Mauritius. The pilot, launched 5 months ago, initially included 10 locations. Pick n Pay further noted increasingly cryptocurrency is being used by those underserved by traditional banking systems or by those wanting to pay and exchange money in a cheaper and convenient way.
On to neighboring Zimbabwe. The country's employment rate has risen to 59% in June this year, from 51% in July 2020, as the country continues to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. This, according to results of a joint survey released Tuesday by the World Bank and Zimbabwe's National Statistics Agency.
The report said the job market continued to show an improvement since reaching its lowest level in July 2020. It added nationally the share of people employed rose from 51% in the first round to 59% in the seventh round. About 34% of respondents did not have work or had not worked in the last month, the lowest rate since the onset of the pandemic. Since June 2020, the World Bank and the Zimstat have been carrying out high-frequency telephone survey of households, known as the Poverty, Income, Consumption and Expenditure Survey, to measure the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on households in Zimbabwe. To date, 7 surveys have been completed, and the Zimsted is currently analyzing 7th round data while preparing to start the 9th round survey. According to the results of the 7th round survey, the employment rate of male workers continued to rise from 56% in September 2020 to 66% in June 2022, while those for female workers rose from 45% to 55% during the same period.
That's where the top news ends for this evening. Kindly stand by for the business and economics roundup, followed by what the weather has in store for us. Welcome to Sport Planet. Champions League football dominates the segment. Real Madrid midfielder Toni Kroos says he will retire at the Spanish club, although it might not be when his contract expires in June 2023. Now, the German, who turns 33 in January, is considering an early retirement from club football at the end of the season, according to some Spanish reports. Kroos retired from international duty with Germany in June last year after last 16 elimination by England in Euro 2020, but said the reports were funny. He had not even decided his future yet. Cruz Real Madrid can seal top spot in the Champions League group with a win over Celtic in the early kick-off tonight. Meanwhile, AC Milan coach Stefano Pioli on Tuesday noted his side must go on the attack as they search for a Champions League last 16 place against RB Salzburg. Milan will reach the knockout stages for the first time since 2014 if they avoid defeat against the Austrian visitors tonight. Another mouth-watering football night is on the cards for football fans. Stand by for your sports roundup. We, the sports news, have come to the end of tonight's primetime news. Many thanks for watching. Do make a date with us tomorrow as we bring you another insightful primetime news edition. From myself, Michael Madimba, and the entire team that ensures this production is well put together, it's good night.